Greetings to everyone out there, and welcome back to Around the Clock. Alright, everybody. Over the past couple of days, there have been a bunch of chatter all on the internet about the possibility of the Switch 2 being revealed in September. And all of this info initially came from Christopher Drain from GamesIndustry.biz, as well as Andy Robinson from VideoGamesChronicle.com. And let's take a look at what they actually said. Now, from Christopher Drain, he says, with industry whispers around something Switch 2 related happening this month, I thought I'd remind everyone of the official list of the greatest games consoles of all time, the Nintendo Switch at number 1 and everyone else at number 2. And Andy Robinson responds with this: seems a bunch of press have heard this, but I still wouldn't bet my house on it. So specifically coming from Andy Robinson, he's saying that it looks like a bunch of people have heard that a Switch reveal could possibly happen this month, but I wouldn't bet everything on it, and I wouldn't say that it is confirmed. Now, when a lot of people saw this all over the internet, they went bonkers, and that's totally understandable because Christopher Drain is somebody that is reliable. You know, I'm not going to go out on a limb and say that he's not, because in the past he has come through clutch with some inside information. But specifically coming from Andy Robinson, he's saying that, look, man, I've heard some of the same things, but I wouldn't bet everything on it that a Switch 2 reveal is happening. Now, I had to say all of that to say this: a new confusing report has come out on Friday. It was on the 6th, as you can see here from MyNintendoNews.com, that Christopher Drain has doubled down on Switch 2 reveal this month, when that's not what he actually did. You know, it was a brand new podcast featuring Andy Robinson as well as Christopher Drain. So let's get into it and see what they actually said.
They're revealing it this month? Is it happening?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Right, folks. Patreon.com/VideoGamesChronicle. See you next time.
I don't know. I sort of.
You two can't stop tweeting about it, and now it's getting plastered all over the internet. There's rumors swirling, and you two are the swirlers. I said there were
there's a bit of that.
You've shined a spotlight onto something that is not supposed to have a spotlight shined on it, Jordan.
There was
me.
Just trying.
You two, the ones that just done it.
But this is the thing. This is the modern one. And Chris will have the same mindset as me, right? Like, I started writing on magazines, right? We're magazine people, okay? In our generation, if it's not in print, it's not important. It's off the record chit chat. When I put stuff onto Twitter, and I've learned the hard way in the past, and Chris has as well. You just put something, just thing I've heard on social media, and it goes, people are like, that's gospel. And they hold you to it. I get held all the time for, you said this thing on Twitter might happen, and it didn't happen. It's like, well, but if I didn't write a news story about it, I'm not putting my flag in the sand. You know, I'm not saying this is a thing. That's not me placing my big bet. That's me having 4 pints and tweeting, you know.
That's me sitting around going to Gamescom and having some chats with people, and they're going, I heard they might be announcing Switch this month. Oh, really? Who'd you hear that from? Just my mate at Devolver. Oh, okay. And so, I heard they might be announcing Switch this month. So I go, there's a bit of whispers going on that Switch might be announced this month. Oh, cock, Switch is being announced.
We sound like we're reeling it back, right? But now, obviously, we need to talk about it. But because of it
could happen.
It's, you know, I've heard from like. There's 3, 4, 5 different journalists independently now who I've spoken to who have all heard maybe something is happening in September. I would not bet my house on it. Like I said, it's, I don't know, like the way they usually have a direct before TGS. That is very traditional. The Nintendo always have a direct before TGS. They announced the first Switch in October. However, I think from what the reporting is now and from what I've heard, that Switch 2 might not launch as early in the year as Switch, like March. It might be like April, May, something like that. So maybe that doesn't necessarily line up in terms of like when they would show it. But I don't know, maybe the thing about Nintendo is that it's a complete mugs game, as we've seen time and time again, doing any kind of like reporting, like authoritative reporting on timing, because those are the things that change the most and can change at last minute and have done. We've seen instances in the past where they delayed a direct because the Queen died, right? They can change stuff like that at a moment's notice, and they will do that. They usually do something for it, but the thing that makes me doubt it is that they got the Nintendo Museum is opening on the 1st or 2nd, I think it is, of October, and they'll have some activity around that. with like people going to see the museum probably and things like that. So I'd be kind of surprised if they did those things at the same time.
All right, so there you all have it. Now, there was more said, but it was more of the same thing going back and forth with these two men here. And I respect both of these men, but you know, this is the problem with the internet, because a lot of people, like I said, when they saw these two reporting on this, they took it out of hand and made it seem as though they confirmed that the Switch 2 reveal will be happening this month, when that's not the case at all. They even doubled down in this report here and said that, look, we don't really know what's going on here. We just heard some things from certain people at Gamescom that we could possibly see something this month related to the Switch 2. And I like what Andy Robinson said at the end there, because he said that the Switch 2's launch could be later than April, possibly May, could even be in June, and that could push back the timing of the reveal. So it's not like it's set in stone that this reveal will be happening this month. He also said here that we have the Nintendo Museum opening on October 1st, and we all know that Nintendo wants to have some concentration about that around the time that it launches. So hey man, that could push back the timing of the reveal of the Switch 2, but again, we'll see. Now, I also want to point this out as well, because on Friday too, we had Bill Kuhn, who is extremely reliable when it comes to brand new consoles being announced, and they reported on DLabs.com that they have information about a brand new Switch OLED bundle featuring Super Mario Bros. Wonder being announced and released sometime this month or early October, and that's the big console announcement for Nintendo for this month. Now, Bill Kuhn has been extremely reliable when it comes to console reveals for the Nintendo Switch as well as PlayStation 2, so when they say something, we have to pay attention, and that's why this whole thing is getting confusing right now, because initially we were all quote unquote teased that possibly a Switch 2 reveal will be happening this month, but then when we hear from Andy Robinson and Christopher Dring on that podcast, they're saying that, hey, we're not confirming anything. These are just things that we've heard. It's not nothing that's set in stone or anything like that. This is just industry chit chat, and that's all it should be. When we report things here on the internet, we have a big responsibility, because us as YouTubers in this Nintendo Switch realm, people listen to us, man. We are journalists as well. So when we say something that something's going to happen or something might happen in this month, a lot of people listen and they take that as the gospel truth, when initially coming from Andy Robinson and Christopher Dring, that's not the gospel truth whatsoever. So it's very possible that a Switch 2 reveal could happen this month. And if it does, hey, I'm going to be super excited. I'll be bouncing off the walls like Flubber if it happens, man. But if it doesn't happen, I don't want people to put too much stake in this right now and say that, look, the Switch 2 reveal is going to happen because these two gentlemen said it, when that's not what they initially said. And for people to go on what Nintendo did in the past with the original Switch, between that transition phase with the Wii U and the Switch, saying that, hey, they announced the Switch in October back then in 2016. So, hey, with them clearing out the deck for September, they had to announce it this month. We can't go on that because that was back in 2016. This is 2024, guys. Also, I saw a lot of people in my last video saying that I know nothing about Nintendo because Nintendo has announced multiple consoles in the same month. Just because they're going to announce a brand new Switch OLED bundle doesn't mean they can't announce the Switch 2. And I know that. I'm not stupid. I'm older than most of these people in this Nintendo realm right now on YouTube, whether you know it or not. Just because I don't look it doesn't mean I'm not, man. I've been following Nintendo news before 80 to 90% of you have even been born, man. So I know exactly what Nintendo has done in the past, specifically with the Switch and the 3DS and the Wii U. But here's my thing, man. We can't go on that. Like Andy Robinson said on that podcast, Nintendo can change their plans anytime they want, when they want to. So let's just wait until Nintendo officially announces something about this console before we get way too hype about something. With that being said, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, remember to keep it locked here at Around the Clock, where here we focus on Nintendo news content around the clock. I'll catch you guys in the next video.